Now we wait for art to come out. Maybe not so artsy. Oh, a little bit shaky. Oh, it's even better.
It's even more art.
More branded.
Mes dabar turim svečius iš Vokietijos, Thomo Putze ir menininką ir kuratorę, kurie prieš 2024 metais pakvietė Gustą padaryti parodą Štutgarte. Ir tas projektas dabar išaugo ir atkeliavo į Vilnių, į Lietuvą. Nors aš gal taip trumpai, nežinau, ar visi susipažinę su ta mūsų istorija, kad kaip viskas prasidėjo. Tai tiesiog pirmiausia mes susipažinom su Tomu Meno mugėje, gal prieš 10 metų. Ir tada jis pradėjo sekti Meno nišą, žiūrėjo, kokie ten menininkai yra ir labiausiai jam patiko Gustas Jagminas. Tada jie susitiko Instagrame ir pradėjo bendrauti būtent per socialinius tinklus. Tarsi nematė, nesusitikę ir mes toje mugėje net nerodėm Gusto kūrinių, tiesiog jis pamatė jos internete. Ir buvo pirmas klientas iš užsienio, kuris įsigijo jo kūrinį. Ir ta kelionė taip tęsiasi ir jų draugystė tęsiasi. Tada tikrai buvo labai sėkmingas projektas Štutgarte, kurio metu Gustas su Tomu irgi surengė parodą didžiulę. Kaip Gustas pats minėjo, girdėjau interviu, tenai jisai buvo toksai svečias, bet ir pagrindinis parodos dalyvis. Šioje parodoje jie susitinka kartu ir yra tokie lygiaverčiai dalyviai ir partneriai. Ir parodoje mes turim tą pirmąją parodą kuravo Katrin ir čia jų buvo idėja, kad svečių namai. Ir iš tikrųjų ir aš nepaleidau tos idėjos, kad mums reikia pasikviesti tuos svečius pas save, juos priimti ir surengti įspūdingą parodą. Tai aš esu labai laiminga, kad ir Tomas ir Katrin pasiryžo Atkeliavo į Vilnių jau prieš savaitę, tyrinėjo mūsų šalį, mūsų miestą, tai yra pirmas kartas jų, bet labiausiai tyrinėjo Gusto asmenybę, gal galėčiau net pasakyti, Gusto teritorijas, Gusto būsenas. Ir nors jie abu dirba visiškai skirtingomis medijomis, jie būtent susitinka tame momente, kaip jie kūrė, kaip jie prieina prie to kūrybos taško ir to momento. Kaip jiems svarbus garsas, kaip jiems svarbi būsena. Čia parodoje galim pamatyti ir Gusto dienotėpį, albumą, kurį jis pildo kiekvieną dieną, kuris yra kaip dienoraštis. Taip pat galim pamatyti kitą dienoraštį, kurį Tomas sukūrė čia tik atvažiavęs į Vilnių, į Lietuvą ir prieskizavo, viskas yra čia. Ir kelios skulptūros, kurios yra ant palangės pirmoje salėje, irgi yra sukurtos iš Vilniaus, tyrinėjant vietas. Jisai buvo jau Dauguose, Vilniuje, jie maudėsi Neryje. Jau šiuo metu, ta prasme, Gustas kiekvieną rytą, Gustas tiesiog juos privertė dar ir muziejus kelis nueiti ir aplankyti parodas ir susipažinti su mūsų kultūra. Bet tas patyrimas yra kitoks, jisai toksai vidinis ir įtaigus. Aš daugiau apie kūrinius nekalbėsiu, tiesiog labai sveikinu ir apie kūrybą, nes Gustą mes daugiau mažiau visi pažįstam, žinom jo kūrybą, o Tomas yra naujokas mūsų meno erdvėje, bet tikrai labai įdomus menininkas, kuris atspindi būtent galbūt tokį ir vokiško meno skulptūros tradiciją ir kitą mokyklą, tai labai džiaugiuosi, sveikinu. Congratulations. And I want to introduce the curator of the exhibition, Katrin Burchel, and she will tell us more about the idea and about artworks of Thomas. And after that, we will have a performance of both artists.
First of all, a huge, big thank you to all of you for this special time here and that you made it possible that we have this opportunity to realize this exhibition here today. Unfortunately, I have to talk in English to you, but I hope it's okay for all of you. For me, it's the first time in Vilnius, and for Thomas as well. We are here now. I'm here since 3 days, and I guess, like Sonata told you, Thomas is here a little bit longer now, and he was visiting places together with Gustas. And we have experienced so much, and we have learned so many things about you, your culture, about Vilnius, that once again it makes it clear that the real life encounters and the exchange between us cannot be replaced by any AI or social media in the world. Even so, as Sonata just has mentioned, Instagram was the starting point of this connection between Gustas and Thomas. Like Thomas discovered the works of Gustas on Instagram, and then the idea arose that he wanted to make this exhibition in Germany, and we invited Gustas to Stuttgart and had this exhibition which we called Guest House, which means an inn, like guests are welcome. This afternoon there was a television crew here, and they asked me about the connecting points between Gustas and Thomas. And to my opinion, above all, there is a kind of anarchistic approach between both of them. Even if it's sculpture and paintings, we have a similar approach to form and color and material, and also like the structure of Gustas' paintings is really three-dimensional sometimes. I think there's a kind of punk spirit to feel in these works that jumps over to us as the viewer, letting us not only see the art, but actually feel it. Really, we have the feeling we can really touch it and be into it and become part of it and the creative and intercultural process that is taking place here. Art, we say, is an international language. It's something that reunites us together, but at the same time, it's also always something very personal. Sonata told me you are very well acquainted with the painting of Gustas, so I will talk more about Thomas' work, which is new for you. because every artwork is speaking a private language, tells his own stories. This is true at the same time for Gustas as for Thomas. Thomas' sculptures shows us his view of the world, his self-understanding as a person and as an artist. He is bringing here today new works to Vilnius, which he has created in the recent months in Germany, while he is teaching at the Academy of Fine Arts in Stuttgart. And we see here in these works he is experimenting with the material of metal. And we encounter some really weird characters, and Sonata told me that some of them remained visitors already of figures they know from animation productions. And that might be right for you at the first look, but these similarities are purely coincidental, and they are not the intention of the artist. All of them, they come along with a large pinch of humor and a worldview that is very specific for Thomas Putze. If you lift up your eyes in the sky, we have like here an anarchistic metal angel, some more of them in the front room. They are between heaven and hell. We have a quite devilish looking skull here behind you at the wall. And all those works are a little bit in an interaction with the paintings of Gustas. So we have this devilish figure at this painting there at the wall. So they just enter in a kind of dialogue together. And they correspond also in the color. And this dialogue with Thomas Putze's figuratively, existentially moving sculptures gave this exhibition a very narrative character in points of humor, but also inner stage such as fear and hope, and also an environment in which we are acting and living, which is a little bit out of control. Both artists, they capture their surroundings with a gaze of melancholy and sensitivity, but also humor and irony. This is also a big connecting point I see between their works. Thomas Putze's work, like I could describe, is a kind of three-dimensional drawing style. Like he is very illustrative in his way of building his sculptures. He swiftly captures human and inhuman traits and characters, mainly in animal depictions. Like you have seen, there are a lot of animal characters around here. But not only through the animals, but every detail of his sculptures becomes an expression of a certain character or human behavior. And I would like to encourage you to pay particular attention to the feet of the sculptures, like the angels or the frog down there, because there is so much expressions in those little movements that lately in Germany he had an exhibition only about created with feet sculptures, because the feet are so expressive. Here he has also brought a selection of works made of wood. Wood is, after metal, his preferred material, and we have the small rebellious penguins, as you might have seen next to the window. They look like they dismantle the gallery already, like they really seem to be in action. And we have the birds flying in an aeroplane looking down on us. And this is like the Putze style. Thomas is known and famous in Germany and Stuttgart for this special style and behavior in his sculptures. He creates these small, cheeky sculptures with a big chainsaw. Like he's really working on the wood with the big chainsaw, and their rough and rugged appearance can only be achieved through this combination of chainsaw and wood. And it's precisely this what defines him as an artist. He always allows himself to be guided by the possibilities of the material, and in the very moment of the beginning of the work, the idea arises. It's not like he's having an idea and he's getting the material and tries to transform it. It is while doing that the idea arises, so it's the creation process. And perhaps it's interesting for you to know a little bit about his background. Like he's a sculptor and a performance artist, but he comes from a very different field. Before he studied sculpture at the Stuttgart Academy of Fine Arts, he worked as a landscape gardener, and he completed a degree in theology. So he has always mainly grappled with the themes of creation. And one dimensionality is definitely not his favorite thing. Besides the sculptures, he is primarily a performance artist in Germany, and he experiences space by his performances. He makes it tangible for us, for the spectator as well. And after some very physical and daring performances in the past, I don't know, you brought a catalog about the performances, you can have a look in the books which kind of performances he used to do. He now strikes more musical but not necessarily calmer tones, as we will hear in the performance together with Gustas. And I just finally want to come back to the title of the exhibition in Germany, which was Gasthaus, which means inn, and we have the same title here at Meno Gallery. An open house where everyone is welcome, and having guests, it's always a great gift, a great enrichment for each of us, because the real encounter takes us beyond our own limitations. Encounter makes us a society that extends a hand to each other and that understands one another, and I think this is more necessary in those days than ever before. So thank you for having us here as your guests, and enjoy the exhibition.
Be our guest. Thank you, Katrina, for explanation, and now I want to ask for your attention. Ir dabar bus performances. Aš menininkams duodu kalbėti per muziką dabar, taip? Gustai, jeigu tu dar nori kažką pasakyti, tai pasakyk.
Tai aš noriu pasakyti, kad Tomas yra ne tik skulptorius, dėstytojas Štutgarto dailės akademijoje, bet jis yra ir multiinstrumentalistas. Jis groja visais instrumentais, bet jisai sako, aš mėgėjas. Tai aš nemanau, kad jis mėgėjas, aš esu mėgėjas. Aš žaidžiu su elektronika kelis metus ir tai niekada aš viešai nesugrojęs, bet Tomas mane pakvietė sugruoti. Tai yra pirmas mano pasirodymas gyvas, tuo pačiu ir pirmas performansas.
Bravo!
Yeah, thank you for joining us in this experiment. Like, it was our first public concert, maybe, hopefully not the last. Yeah, it's always an experiment, and thank you for doing it with me. And thank you for your attention.
Aš tik tai dar papildysiu, kad kadangi čia vyko tie performansai, tokios kaip repeticijos kelias dienas jau, tai mes esam vieną įrašę ir jinai yra visiškai kitokia patirtis, negu kad dabar buvo čia su jumis. Ir visus kviečiu dar kartą ateiti šitą parodą, nes mes tą performansą dar transliuosim per ekraną. Jo daugiau gyvo nebus, bet yra įrašas. Tai jeigu dar kartą užsuksite, tai patirsite dar kitą patirtį.
Tai aš supratau, ilgesnė buvo gerokai, ar ne?
Nežinau, dabar esu apie laiką, bet tiesiog jisai buvo kitoks.
Bet seniai.
Čia yra performansas. Tai va tiesiog dar kartą kviečiu ateiti šitą parodą ir gero vakaro visiems. Ačiū.
That's